Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. I've got one or two new blooms to film, but as the light's not bad today, I thought I'd give the old tripod a go and do a couple of close-in ones. I really envy you guys that don't have to mess about like this. I mean, I've seen some of the close-up shots done on phones, and you know, the messing about that I have to do to get a close-up is outrageous. But nothing much else to do today, so as I say, I've got one new bloom and I'll have a go at a couple of close-ups. I don't know how much longer these Disa blooms are going to last. I mean, Disa cuensis is the only Disa I've got. I'm hoping to get more. Fiddly though they are, for me they're worth it, and I'm just accepting the challenge of something that just grows totally differently to everything else I've got. I don't want thousands of the flipping things, but I would like some oranges and perhaps some yellows or some reds, or one of each would be nice. That would take it up to 4, and I'd be happy with that. As I say, I don't want loads and loads, but as I say, I don't know how much longer these are going to last. They've been open probably 4 weeks now, so they're not doing bad. So that's Disa cuensis, that one. Okay, this one hasn't actually had any blooms for a while. It just blooms on and off, but seems to have been having a quiet spell. But there is one bloom open at the moment, so I thought I'd grab it while it's there. This is Restrepia falkenbergii. Actually came from Burnham's originally as one of their. They have little rooted kikis, I'll call them, small plants. Quite a few, and they're not expensive, but they do take quite a while to grow on from that size. But they also do like the next size up, where those those bits that they've broken off and put in pots have grown on a bit and perhaps been repotted, so they're sort of like medium-sized plants. And for me, it's worth paying a bit extra for that size because they grow at a much faster rate starting from that point, if you see what I mean. So you know, you get blooms a lot quicker, so it's worth a bit extra. I can't remember what size this was when I got it. It's quite a long time ago. But it's quite a whopper now. Anyway, these are miniature blooms. I would say that the coloured portion of that is 1.5 centimetres. Certainly, maybe even a little less than that. These are tiny little blooms, and out of my Restrepias, this is the smallest one. It is tiny, and the only way you can really see the colours on it is like this. If I try and film this handheld, those colours just blur. The electronics in the camera just decide, you know, what picture I'm going to get and come up with something not as good as this. And the only way I can get this is literally to keep the bloom still and keep the camera still. So anyway, attractive little bloom. Emphasis on the little. This Restrepia is my favourite. The blooms are a little larger than the last one. The coloured section is nearer 2 centimetres, but less than 2 centimetres, so a bit bigger than the previous one. But the patterning on this one just is my favourite. I'm just looking at the picture on the camera, and it still doesn't really capture it. It's turned what I call gold into more of a yellow colour. I think this is one of those where the camera just will not, you know, transpose the colours in a truly accurate form. But getting in as a close-up like this at least gives a good impression. But that yellowy colour is more gold. It really is a gold colour. It's absolutely gorgeous. And obviously the camera sees one thing and my brain translates what my eyes see differently. But that's about the best I can get on it. This is a mouthful. Restrepia antinifera, so it's a species, and it's the variety Hemsley-Anna. And this was another one from Burnham's as a young plant, and it's now a monster. have a look back. I was going to say, if you want to see the size of these plants and how they're doing and all that sort of stuff, you can always have a look back at the mid-season updates where literally everything was filmed, and the fact that it begins with R, you can see which one it's in. But yeah, lovely colours on that one. Absolutely love that one. Well, this Restrepia I've had to back up a bit. I can actually just about film this one by hand because it's large, and as Restrepia blooms go, this is quite large. I'd say that the coloured section is probably nearly 3 centimetres long, and if you add the antennae bit sticking up the top, I would say, oh no, once I get beyond 3 centimetres, I'm afraid I have to go back to old money, because that's about as far as my little mind will go. I would say this one is actually 3 inches top to bottom, and as Restrepias go, that's a lot of bloom. It's one of the larger ones, definitely. That's a hybrid from Eric Young Foundation, which is on the island of Jersey in the English Channel, and is far more French than English. And anyway, it's called Houlissae, spelt Houlisse. Most of their hybrids have got a very French influence in the name, which is a nuisance for me because my French is atrocious and my accent's appalling. But anyway, an interesting bloom. Colours on that are represented quite accurately by the camera. Not such a bright yellow in the background, and the stripes are not really stripes. They're a sequence of dots and dashes. They're not really continuous, so it's got an unusual patterning on it. But as I say, as Restrepia blooms go, that's a bit of a whopper. Nice though, and you know, a relatively young, well, not a young plant, but in my Restrepia sized plants, this is a medium sized plant. This is probably a bit bigger than what I would class as a medium sized plant from Burnham's. It does have very large leaves as well. The whole thing just seems to have had some oomph put in it by the Eric Young Foundation. So bigger leaves, longer stalks to the leaves, and much larger blooms. Interesting plant. I don't need the tripod to actually film these because the blooms are large, but literally to get that sort of close focus and the fine detail in the centre with that yellow with the red markings does need it to be still. So I thought, as I've got the thing set up, I just thought I'd give that a go. That's Miltoniopsis World Cup, recent acquisition. Not a good plant, single bulb with a spike on. Swore I'd never get one like that again, but I just couldn't resist the blooms. You know, to me, this is almost Miltoniopsis perfection. Reasons. The reason is, on the lip itself, you've got the colour, the pink, and it is a nice magenta type pink. It's a lovely colour. Slight veining markings as well. But then when you move into the splash area, you've got the deep burgundy red. And the outline of that burgundy red is crisp. They're often fuzzy. And then the outline of the white around the burgundy red is also crisp. It's just damn near perfect, quite honestly. As I say, there is often a lot of fuzziness in that area on the Miltoniopsis, but this one is just really good. And then the other two petals, they're a deeper colour, fading to white round the edge, and the sepals again white round the edge. And even the lip itself has got a white edge to it, so it's got lots of things going on, and to me it's just smashing. And yeah, maybe topped one day by a yellow one. I don't think I'm ever going to get one. Unless one of the big mass producers in the EU somewhere decides to do yellow, I can't see me ever getting one. Somebody was trying to send me one from Canada, but getting stuff in and out of Canada is, I'll leave it as not easy. There's good reasons for it, I'm not objecting to the reasons, but the cost of the shipping was just absolutely stupid. Nobody should be paying that sort of money to send an orchid. You know, it's just not worth it. But one day, somebody might take the bull by the horns and decide to do yellow in the EU. And, you know, if they're in short supply, I'm going to buy quite a few of them because they'll, you know, they are just so sellable. They're just so nice. And I just can't get them. I get all different shades of whites through the pinks to the deep reds and all stuff like that, and all different splash patterns and dotty patterns and anything you can think of, but not yellow. They just can't be had at the moment. But I'll put up with that one for a while. This one's not going to bloom for a hell of a long time now because it's, as I said, it was a single bulb with a spike. Its destiny are the two new shoots coming out at the base of that bulb that are very young growths, and I've got to get at them soon because they have the base of the other pseudo bulb. Hang on, put up with a bit of wobbling while I take the camera down. Pictures show much better than telling stories. Right, back to normal filming now. Single bulb, two new growths pushing up either side, both of which are enclosed by the leaves on the base of the bulb, which means the roots can't escape. And therefore, when those delicate new roots start to push up, they will do just that, and they will climb upwards into the air. Now, I don't want them in the air, I want them in the media. It's bad enough with these things trying to put up with the, you know, the excess heat I get when the sun's out without struggling with aerial roots at the same time. So I've got to very, very carefully take these sheaths off so that the base of these new growths is exposed, and any new roots will then go in media. And the other thing I don't want them to do is go into that media because I don't know what it is. So it also needs a repot at the same time. So stress, heat. Stress, coming out of the pot and going in a new one. Stress, not a very big plant. Successful? We'll have to wait and see. But give Miltoniopsis more than one stress factor and you like double the stress factor. Give it 3 at once. We'll have to wait and see. But by the time these blooms are starting to fade and these growths are big enough to warrant doing what I want to do, hopefully the days will be shorter and the worst of the heat will be gone. So it should give it chance to just settle in, you know, before the cool of the winter, which doesn't affect my Miltoniopsis. It actually makes them feel a bit more comfortable. The problem being the short days, obviously. But the lower temperatures, you know, that does them the world of good. My humidity stays high anyway, that's always okay. Light level's easy to do. It's just getting the heat down and keeping them cool and keeping them comfortable. So we'll see how we go with that one. Now this one's just opened. The first bloom was opening yesterday and is virtually fully open today. Now this spike's actually got 1, 2, 3, sorry, the camera's in the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blooms on it. This one's virtually fully open. The next 2 are opening. In fact, the next 3 are opening. So they're going to open in very quick succession. And all of the Wildcat set, and there are quite a few of them, have very, very substantial blooms. There's nothing frail or flimsy about these blooms. They're chunky, sturdy, they have a waxy sheen to them, and they have intense colours on them. Now the colour on this one, the deep burgundy of the petals and sepals, the camera's not representing properly. It's lightening it. It is actually darker than that. The red on the lip, it's actually rendering that true. And the gold tips to the petals and sepals, that's pretty accurate as well. But the depth of colour on the darker elements of this plant, the camera is actually lightening it a bit. So it is deeper than that. It really is almost black. And then you've got the delicate markings in the centre of the lip. Beautiful plants. I love the Wildcat set. I've got 3. We had a look at Wildcat Rainbow a few days ago because that was recently opened. Wildcat Cheetah's been in quite a few videos, going back about a month now, something like that. That was open and had a spike that lasted a nice long time. Much more yellow in that one. But this one I like this one a lot. They're not giant blooms, I suppose they're what, inch and a half across. I just like the depth of colour and the fact that that really deep colour is just etched around the edge with that gold yellow colour. Lovely blooms. As I say, that is a new bloomer today. It's not the first time it's bloomed for me, it's bloomed before, but first time this year anyway. It's got 2 spikes. The second spike is not very strong. It's probably only going to have 2 blooms on if it doesn't blast. But this one's a reasonable spike, 5 blooms. It will make quite a good show when they're all open. Yep, so Wildcat Bobcat. And this last one for this vid anyway is a tease because it's not open, but I can see what's coming, and I just wanted to sort of try and show it, see if you can work it out as well. It's a Latoria dendrobium, it's Roy Tokunaga, and it's White Knight. Be a first time bloomer for me. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think 5 blooms, maybe 6. Tucked away and the camera's in my line of sight again. But this one's just cracked, as I always say. It's just literally showing its colours, and it just looks like it's got deep purple, if not virtually black markings on the lip. There's some purple there, but that is an incredibly deep colour, and that's going to be effectively on a greeny colour. So that depth of colour on green, which may fade to white. I mean, given its name is White Knight, I don't expect it to stay green. And it may be the petals and the sepals will end up being a nice white colour, and the lip may stay green. But yeah, it's a bit of a tease, but that's what I'm stuck with today. I'm being teased, so I thought, well, if I am, so can you. Coming soon, I would imagine maybe tomorrow, probably the day after, probably either Monday or Tuesday, we'll have a fully open bloom. They are slow to open, that's fine, because when they open, they're going to stay there for a hell of a long time. If my Rhodostictum is anything to go by, these could be open for 2 or 3 months. So a lot to look forward to there. Okay, that's it for today. It was just a quick play around with the tripod while I was fiddling around in here. Not much to do in the grow room today, really. Everything's been watered. The mounts all got done yesterday. We had a little bit of sun yesterday, which managed to get the temperature up a bit in here. It's strange, actually. The foggers came on yesterday and used about 2 inches of water. I haven't filled them up for over a week. Now, when we get sunny days, all 3 of them have to be filled up every single day. That's about 12-13 litres of my RO water gone every single day. Whereas now, the weather's got a bit more like the UK weather normally is. Bit of sunshine now and again, bit of rain, bit of wind, bit of everything. I think some people have had a bit of flooding, some people have had some hail, and we've had thunder and we've had lightning. The only thing missing, I think, is flipping snow. We just get the lot, that's what we get. But recently the long days of continual sunshine have gone for a bit now. And they're not on the horizon at the moment, so I know I've got another 2 or 3 days with the odd bit of sunshine, just gets the temperature up a bit. If it gets up far enough, the foggers will kick in. But if the temperature doesn't go up, I mean, my temperature at the moment is 23 and the humidity is 74-75%. That's fine. That's good growing, good conditions, everybody's happy. They'll be happier when I get the big circulating fan on, but obviously that would defeat the object of the tripod because everything has to be dead still. Okay, so just a quick one, and see you again next time. Thanks for dropping by. Hope you like. Oh, damn it, I've missed one. I'll go and get it. This is probably going to sound silly now, but this was the whole reason I came out here and got the tripod out and then completely got sidetracked and forgot it. This is the species Vanda, which the blooms are not that large. So, you know, it's difficult to capture just how attractive these blooms are with the handheld camera. So this was one of the reasons I came out with the tripod and then nearly forgot it. Anyway, Vanda roblingiana, it's a species, and this one is tolerant of lower temperatures and lower light levels. I've just actually noticed that the other two spikes, the first two spikes are almost fully open now, a few buds still to go. The other two spikes are not happy. There's several buds blasting on those two. There will be some buds open, but they won't be the full, you know, the full ones like the first two spikes. I don't know why at the moment. I can't fiddle with it, not while the tripod's set up, but I can see that some of the buds are blasting. As I say, not quite sure why, but I mean, this is an incredibly weak plant, got a very poor root system, and it's attempting to chuck 4 spikes up at the same time. And I'm not absolutely certain, but I'm pretty sure when I was struggling away trying to make sure there were no living bugs on this thing yesterday, I actually saw a 5th spike lower down the stem, which is not a normal place for a Vanda to work. You know, they normally progress upwards with their spikes. So it might even be attempting to put a 5th one out, which is just silly. I mean, if it can't support 4, it's not going to do very well with that 5th one. Nonetheless, as I say, the feature of these blooms, again, this camera's decided to adjust the colour on this. So the actual paler colour is quite a nice delicate green in reality, and the camera's fading it slightly. The dark colour is quite an attractive red, and the camera's slightly altered that. And it's the patterning on the lip and the shape of the lip. I can't capture that handheld. Incredibly frilly and in 2 parts with veining coming out of the centre, working its way downwards and then following the lines out to the frilly parts of the lip. It's a very, very delicate bloom. And as I said, the plant's not happy, but it's blooming, so we'll live with that for now. And what have we got? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blooms on the spike I'm filming, 3, 6, 8 on the next one that's nearly fully open, and then the other 2 spikes I don't know. The one I can see with the blasting buds may end up with only 4, because it looks like the tip is the bit that's blasting, so the others are okay. The other spike's still half buried in the leaf. It hasn't even pushed out properly yet, so we'll see how we go, but at least it's bloomed, you know, it's done well. Okay, thanks for dropping by. See you next time. Oh, the sun's going to come out now. I wonder if that'll change the camera's view of these colours. Difficult to tell. But the sun's a wishy-washy sun anyway. It's not a clear sky out there. It's quite hazy with some cloud around. We might get a shower or 2. Never know. Never know what's coming next with the English weather. See you next time.